Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are. One's in the chat if you are here.
I appreciate your president having made me an honorary visiting professor, and I will assure you that
One's in the chat, one's in the chat.
Very brief. I am delighted to be here, and I'm particularly delighted to be here on this
chat,
occasion.
this guy up today. Ricky coming in, hopefully pretty soon here. Hey Rob, good morning. Or in this case, good evening, since you're all the way out in London. Also, how does the audio sound? I just realized my microphone is a little bit quiet, and hopefully it's less quiet now. Let me turn this music down a little bit. Much clearer now? Thank goodness. Excellent. Still waiting on our guest here. I think he's running a little bit late. We'll see what's going on. In the meantime, where's everybody from? Rob, I know you're from London, but there's I think there's about maybe 8, 10 of you in here. Where are the rest of you guys from? Where y'all living? How's the weather? How are you doing? Netherlands. My goodness. Cleveland, Toronto. Nice. Utah. Oof. What's life like in Utah right now? Is it cold in Utah? Austin. Cool. I'm not meeting with a client right now. I had you for 2 p.m. Uh-oh. All right, there appears to be a bit of a mix-up. Ricky has us scheduled out for an hour from now. I'm going to stay on until then. You guys are free to stay with me if you want. So why don't we just transition right now to some live Q&A. I'm sure you guys are probably also in the business space. You guys are clearly interested in automation for a reason. Let me know what's going on in your lives. What are you guys working on? What are your problems? What are you guys spending way too much time at work doing? I'm curious. All right, Jail, you're doing PM. To News, you're looking for a job. Finding cool new AI programs and seeing how they work for Zebra. Doing too much PM while being a founder plus salesperson. So you're wearing a lot of hats. Travis Erard, I'm a dev that does automations for customers, so I'm interested to see how others do their automations. Ooh, Travis. Rob, generally looking to see how people are automating what they've got going on. Okay. So, this may be a little bit too early, but we can do it anyway. Let me show you guys what's going on with pixels. So, I won't read all of this because this is a lot of text. But for the show today, we have our guest, Ricky, who is, let me just move his name out of there. Ricky is the owner of this productized design service agency that's doing newsletter designs for people who use the Pixels newsletter platform. Now, basically, what we're doing is we're doing onboarding today, and we're trying to get it so that when someone makes a purchase, when someone starts a subscription, the entire onboarding process is essentially automated and they can get submitting tickets right away. So if you're not familiar with how a productized design service agency works, basically a customer starts their subscription, then some sort of infrastructure gets put into place. Usually this is like a project management tool like Asana or Notion, just a way for the client to create a ticket of work. So in the case of a design agency, it could be like, hey, we're doing this new campaign. Here are the details of that campaign, and here's our deadlines. And they need a place to put all that information so that Ricky can go in and see all the work that he has to do for any given day, week, month, year, etc. So that happens next. And then usually what ends up happening is like clients are not always super familiar with these tools. So there is some sort of like tutorial island educational content that needs to get dropped into place so that they understand what they're doing and how to submit a ticket of work. And then eventually, well, finally, they have to like be invited to that infrastructure, to that PM tool, whatever it is. And so actually this probably needs to go here. So last week, we covered pretty much how we were going to do that in sort of like a workflow, flow chart diagram. So basically a new subscription happens in Stripe. We figure out what kind of sale it is. He's got like 3 different packages. We figure out which package it is. We create the project in Asana. That's what he uses. Using a template that he's built beforehand, a couple templates he's built beforehand. Then we invite that new client into the Asana project. He drops a YouTube video that he's recorded in the past on his own into a first task so that when a client accepts the invite into the Asana page, they'll be able to see that sort of like tutorial onboarding bit of content. And then finally, a notification gets sent to them with all of that information. So if they miss the invite, they're still going to get another email that's like, hey, by the way, thank you for your purchase. Here's a video of what you need to do and how we can use this. And here's a URL to your brand new Asana project. So that's onboarding. And that's what we're going to build today. Travis, I'm very curious to see like how this compares to what you've been building. Also, very quickly, Rob, I feel like what you're trying to accomplish here, which is more so like a general broad educational purpose, is very on the nose of what I'm trying to accomplish with the show. I really do think like people just don't understand the power of automation, and having, I don't know, any kind of messy system, not that this is going to be super messy, but showing people like what the whole process is like end to end, I think is a really, like, I think it's going to set off some light bulbs. Let me know if this is setting off some light bulbs for you. Jordan, trying to get some light bulb moments? Yeah, so am I. Just curious, Travis, what are you using to build your automations? Using like Zapier? Using like make.com? Using any of these other weird alternatives? So those are the only two that I know about. But I think I get ads for others, and they all seem a little strange. Ruby and Rails and hitting APIs? Okay, I see. So you're writing everything by hand. Rob Cooper says, exactly, total what I'm here for. So first question that springs to mind, how does this process / toolchain differ from using tool services over like if then, if that, or is it if IFTT is like if that, then this? Or complement it? Okay, so like from my understanding, IFTT is basically the same thing as like Zapier, Make. It's just another no-code automation platform. So this process isn't really much different. So all we're really doing here is all of these no-code platforms are really just calling APIs on the back end. So for example, I use Make, and in Make, you know, we might be doing something in Stripe. And so when I say something like list all customers, what it's really doing is just calling some code in the backend. I don't have to write the code, but it's the same regardless of what platform you use. So really, when it comes to platforms and different no-code platforms, it's really about the workflow, the UI, and the UX, and then also pricing. I did a quick breakdown of pricing on last stream about Zapier versus Make and how Zapier is like, I think an order of 10 more expensive than Make, or no, it might have been like 4 times as expensive as Make. For like the same thing, really. So it's really just like a matter of preference at this point. Because if you know what you're doing, all these different no-code automation platforms are basically the same. Okay, Travis, I have a question for you. Why not write in like JavaScript? Why not write in like TypeScript? With the way that modern TypeScript and JavaScript works these days, especially with like runtimes like Dino and Bun, like you can, like deploying stuff is so fast and extremely cheap. Rob Cooper, gotcha, thanks. First note down, hadn't heard of Make before. Well, now you know. I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit for myself, but then maybe bring it back up for everyone else. Oh, you've just been doing it for a while, so it's what you know. Gotcha. Yeah, I was never, I got my start in JS and TS, so like, that's been my thing, and it's pretty much built for the web, so it's been pretty convenient for me. But you end up building UI for the customer like dashboards, so Rails is very easy to build full stack. Gotcha. So it's... Yeah, but I would even argue that TypeScript is quite easy to build a full stack. Also, like, on the note of dashboards and, like, just overview, how are you doing... Like, why not use something... Why not use something like Airtable? Because that's, like, truly the easiest. Like, are your customers typically, like, more enterprise? Do they have, like, mountains and mountains of data that you're using here? Like, what's the bottleneck? Like, are you guys familiar with Airtable? Let me pull it up on a different screen so I don't expose some sensitive data. So, like, right now, one of the projects I'm working on is an ambassador marketing, I guess, CRM or a CMS. Yeah, Airtable is awesome. Out of the box, 80 to 90% of what you need. The other 10 to 20% needs to be customized. It's harder with no code. Exactly. I could not agree more. One of the things that I find myself having to do quite often, at least once in every build, is, for example, in Make, I have to do like a custom endpoint request because, like, it's just like sometimes they'll give me like an object or like a series of objects, and it's like, oh, I have to like loop over this thing and like aggregate every single field, or like aggregate a bunch of different fields into like a string and then throw that into the next module. And so what I end up having to do is I end up having to make like a basic auth request. This is actually not the right type of auth request. It is... No, it's just the basic get a request. So I usually have to stand my own endpoint up right here and pipe data in that way in order to get what I need. Because you're right, there's like a 10 to 20% of the build that is like not doable, where it becomes like prohibitively expensive. But this is also why I'm mentioning TypeScript and JavaScript, because like with something like Dino Deploy, you just link your GitHub repo to it, and then you just push to that, and then it's deployed. But I'm sure you can do something similar in Ruby. I guess I just don't know much about Ruby on Rails. Okay, 100% Travis. Rob Cooper says, for me personally, it's about retraining my engineer's brain to think mostly no code first, use pipelines to smash gather the data, then only manually do stuff when absolutely needed. Old habits die hard. Yeah, I really think that where no code shines is in its ability to allow us to build super fast. So I don't have to worry about like silly auth things. It just removes a lot of the boilerplate away from me and allows me to prototype really quick. And when like something, like when I'm truly bottlenecked by something, like if a automation workflow that I'm building is like literally in the tens of thousands of executions per day, like, okay, it's time to like deploy this on our actual server, maybe get an instance going if it's like, you know, truly computationally heavy. And then at that point, you already have a prototype. You already know what it's supposed to look like, right? You can just point an engineer at your make.com automation and be like, all right, now build this on a server that we control so we can like, you know, reduce cost by like 90% on top of what we were already reducing cost by. So it's just this like game of like, which do you care more about? Do you care more about speed Or do you care more about putting the upfront investment in to get all of those savings now? Like, are you expecting to launch this to like 100,000 people overnight? Or is this more so like, you know, you're starting up your own agency and you want something that's really easy and fast and that you can just deploy today and handle the 20, 25 potential customers you're going to get this week? You know what I mean? It's like there are trade-offs you have to make, and for me, and at least for the way that I like to build, it just makes more sense to do it in a sort of no-code way first, and then once things get hectic, then to open the IDE, the command line, the terminal, the editor, and write the code then. And in many cases, I have to do it anyways, because it's like, oh, I've got this problem that I cannot solve with Make. I must stand on my own server and create my own endpoint. I'm not opposed to full no code or a mix of code and no code. Let me see if I can just quickly demonstrate what Dino is and how like Dino works. Because I think Dino is like really exciting. It's like, it's just like, it just makes sense. I don't know how else to describe it. Okay, so there's something called Dino Playground. And basically, it like, right now, this is a live server. I literally just clicked one button. So these are all my Dino projects. And when you hit new playground, it creates this. Whoops. It creates this, which is an endpoint that I can use like literally right now. And what that means for those who are not technical is if I wanted to call, like if I have this automation and it's like, oh, list all customers, and one of the customers' name is like Dan, and I want Dan's information. Well, this is not an amazing analogy, but I'm freeballing it here. So we're gonna call this, we're gonna do get, and I don't think we're gonna need any headers. But if I run this, and we won't do, we'll just say like, we'll just list all invoice line items. That's simple enough. Invoice ID. I don't have it. But maybe we can search it? No. Actually, it'll be easier just to make this request as the first thing. If we drop this in, and we just let it run, you can see that Hello World prints out right here. So now I have access to Hello World from anywhere. And just like that, you know, in one click, I stood at my own server. And all I have to know is TypeScript, and I can make this do anything I want. So rather than just, you know, printing out and returning Hello World, it can take like a very complex object, do like some filtering or some sorting that's like usually very computationally heavy, that would cost you a fortune in Make, and spit it out as a nice little text for you that costs you one operation in Make. So you've just effectively limited the amount of actual dev hours you have to spend while still taking advantage of all of the powerful options you have as a developer. And you can do it all in Dino. And once you're happy with what your server is spitting out, you can like spit it out into a GitHub repo. It's like it's just insanely easy. And I'm shocked that more people don't talk about it. I'm shocked more people aren't using it. It's not as popular yet as I would kind of expect it to be. Okay, Travis, there are NPM packages or Ruby gems that give some of the same benefits of no code, where you don't have to learn everything about an API. Yeah, that's true, but like, again, it's all about like the UI UX of like a no code platform, right? Because we're right here, in no-code platform, and I don't have to like go through any documentation. I'm just like, oh, Stripe, that's cool. Oh, I want to see all the customers. Oh, there's an endpoint for that. I don't even know it's an endpoint. It just says list all customers. It's like, cool, I can just click on that, and all of a sudden, without having to reference any documentation, I can just get all of that access without having to deal with authentication headers or any of the boilerplate technical stuff that nobody wants to think about, that is just more friction for between you and getting whatever app you have built and shipped. It's just better, in my opinion. Yeah, Rob Cooper. See, these are nice additions to the toolbox. You're welcome. I could smash out something in JSTS quickly, but just being able to hack and get stuff running faster is key. Yes. Yes, it is very much chef's kiss. It is like the only thing that matters in my opinion. Just get something built, get something shipped, and then iterate on it later. If you even need to, you know? And then also, oh, you guys are gonna love this. Okay, this is just like super nerdy for the devs only, basically. I installed this, so watch. If when I press Control Space, I installed this thing called Whisper Writer, which right now is listening to my voice, and when I stop talking, it's gonna just spit everything out as text. So I can say something like, hey, write me a script in Dino that will return a random day in time. And right now it's transcribing, and look, there it goes. Everything I just said is now in text, and I can chuck it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will create that script in Dino. And actually, while we're here, I'm just going to give it what we currently have. This is what I currently have. I'm going to type this out because I have to do this. Rob Cooper, dictation, nice. FY Windows with an H. Okay, that's true, but whatever model they're using for Windows dictation is not as good as Whisper. I don't know what they're using. It's probably some older version. But also, like, for some reason, Windows dictation doesn't work. Like, they don't recognize my mic for some reason. I don't know why. I'm using like a focus. I'm using like the most standard. I'm using like the most standard microphone and interface. So I don't know. I don't understand. Super Whisper is also great for that. Aaron, what is Super Whisper? Super Whisper. Is this something I need to know about? Oh, interesting. Oh, it's for Mac. I mean, I have a Mac too, so I would use this. But includes LLMs that can also process text. That's sick. This is actually what Whisper Writer is running on. It's just a Python script that runs. So in theory, that'll also run on Mac. City boy accent causes problems for every engine and model. Yeah, people tell me I have very proper English, so that's probably helps. Let's paste this code in, by the way, and see what we get. So we're generating, I gotta make this smaller, I can't see a thing. All right, so we got a function called random date, the start date and the end date. And it returns a type of date. Start time, get time, some random math, times, and get time minus start time. Okay, so that's how it generates the random name, or the random date. And then it serves a request. Okay, so if I save and deploy this, in theory, I got a random date and time. So now, if I copy this endpoint, and if you're a dev, you understand what I'm doing, but I just want to show you guys how fast and how insanely easy it is to stand up a JS server and get whatever you need, really. Like you guys saw that. This was like 4 clicks. Had ChatGPT generate all the stuff. I mean, of course, if I need to do something like more complex than that, it won't be nearly as easy. But with what we're doing, this is insanely fast, insanely easy. Insanely powerful. Yeah, Aaron, tell me about what you're doing. What other tools you're using besides like Super Whisper? It seems like you're pretty plugged into all of the new LLM tools that are coming out. Travis, Make looks super cool. How would I give the customer some UI to interact with? Like if they needed to look at a Stripe transaction and make some decision based on the contents of the transaction. Well, if I were you, let's say like in Stripe, we can watch for events. Just won't do anything there. And so let's say they make a transaction where they, purchase maybe an item. What we can do is we can go into Airtable. This is like the worst part about make.com is their filtering. It's just terrible. And we can create a record. So if you don't know, every time an event happens in Stripe, you get a bunch of information. And some of that information is like, what is the name of the customer? What is the email of the customer? What is the phone number of the customer? Their billing address? How much they paid? So you get a lot of data. So let's say you have a single product, product A, and your employer wants to know like what the analytics are on product A over like, I don't know, the last month. If you set up an automation that's, I think, literally just these two, for every single transaction that occurs in Stripe, you can create a new record in Airtable. And then once you're in Airtable, I'm going to pull it up on another monitor. I literally just closed it, actually. Can I just do this? I can just do this. In Airtable, you can just create an interface. And this interface will basically allow you to... I should be able to edit this. This interface, which is literally just drag and drop, you can have things like, number of sales in a month, average customer lifetime value, sales last month, right? You can go absolutely crazy. But the point of it is like for analytics and dashboards, I think if you're coding that stuff in 2024, you're not taking advantage of the easier, even freer solutions that exist. Because these tools were literally designed to remove the need to hire a developer to make a dashboard. And like that's the same thing with like Power BI and like Tableau. It's all just like how can we give more business-minded folks the task of building these like analytics dashboards, and how do we remove the need for dev hours to make things like that? And interfaces is Airtable's solution. But there are tons of other solutions that exist out there too. But I know that this is like the simplest and the most easy to adopt. Easy for your team to adopt. For dashboards, I've also been really happy using Retool, but more for admin stuff and less for BI dashboards. Okay. What is Retool? Build business software fast, ship apps, okay. Ooh, I like this. So let me ask you this. Does this also come with automations? I mean, it must. It's like just a fast way to develop software. Write code nearly anywhere. Get control. Yeah, they're writing in JavaScript. Gantt charts. Yes, they're called workflows. Nice. That's sick. How is their pricing? Not as robust as Integra Make, but more developer focused. Well, I mean, they're giving you the ability to call. I mean, assuming they allow you to call like an external HTTP request or make an external HTTP request, it doesn't matter if they don't have the integrations, because like with an external HTTP, you can integrate whatever you want. It just becomes more expensive, I suppose, to do so from like a developer hour perspective, because like again, that's where all the cost is going, right? Anytime anyone opens a code editor, someone's checkbook gently weeps. All right, Travis. Retool is def closer to a drop-in replacement for what I do. It's like an intranet for your business. Intranet for your business. That would be, but you would then also have to like own the servers that you're running Retool on. And my guess is Retool probably makes its bread on hosting. I'm guessing. I don't actually know. It looks like per end user. Holy Jesus, they are pricey. I'm trying to figure out like where this makes sense. I guess if you're working with like an enterprise client, this is a good option. Because it's like, let's see, 50 a month per standard user, and then 15 per month per end user. I'm guessing you, the dev, are the standard user, and then the end user is like whichever team or org you're selling this to. But 15 a month per end user is pricey. That can get quite expensive if they're like a larger org. So yeah, this is ironically, this is kind of where Ruby on Rails shines. Because like, I mean, Retool is probably actually paying something like a few cents per month per end user. Same with the standard user. So like, if you really want to be saving costs, you really want to optimize, ideally you just like hand someone a Retool build and you're like, all right, build this in Ruby or build this in TypeScript. And then you'd be saving like, you know, 50 per month per dev plus the 15 per end user, which if it's a big enough org, that's going to be thick savings. Those would be solid. Wrapping up, still on. Oh. Yes. Looks like our guest is here. Ricky. Your microphone's off. Let me get him in this embed very quickly. All right, Ricky, you're going to have to turn your mic on and your video on, and you'll pop up right next to me here. Rob, you're dropping off in 15. You absolutely can reply later, or replay this later. This is all going to be recorded. It's going to be uploaded to YouTube. I'm going to turn this into clips that you can watch. That will be like not 2 hours long. You'll need to add permissions to your All right, Ricky is working through some AV issues. Oh, there he is. Let's go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay,
Not
awesome.
familiar with them, so I was trying to figure it out. Sorry about
Not
that.
a problem. Not a problem.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me quickly copy your embed.
Have you guys been waiting for me the entire
Yeah,
time?
but we've been like talking about other stuff. There's been plenty of things to discuss. So it's not a no. It's really no problem. I'm just trying to get you on the screen here. Let's see. Enable audio. Let's regenerate the URL. There you go. Now you're on the stream.
Perfect.
All right, Ricky. Let's start from square one. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us about Pixels. Tell us about what you're working on, and tell us about what we're building today.
Okay, so I'm Ricky. I run Pixels and also Ponder. Pixels is basically right now a newsletter design agency, specialized on Beehive, on the Beehive platform, and right now we are basically trying to optimize two different processes. Well, one is basically what we talked about before is the selling process, or what happens before the sales takes place. Once the sales take place and people click on a button to go buy any given package from the agency, then there is an onboarding process, and this onboarding process has been done manually. I have optimized part of it, especially the creation of the project inside of Asana, but most of it has been done manually. And right now it's a little bit easier, but the the process of getting people onboarded and creating the project and recording some videos that we always record to welcome them and walk them through some steps takes a lot of time, and so I wanted to minimize that as much as possible to be able to focus on other things. There's a million things to do in the agency, so I didn't want it to be caught up every single day on onboarding process, and so that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. All right, let's get right into it. Let me just first quickly walk you through our diagram of how we're going to tackle this problem, and then we're going to jump in and actually just build this thing for you. So first, the way that I'm envisioning this is through this workflow diagram. The legend here is these sort of rounded blocks are a process, and these, I guess, diamonds or squares on their sides are conditional qualifiers, so they're if statements.
Yeah.
And they're currently binary, yes, no. Okay, so from my understanding, we're going to go from whenever a new subscription happens in Stripe,
Yeah.
we're going to figure out what type of subscription that customer just purchased. Is it going to be basic? If it is basic, we're going to create a project in Asana using the standard subscription template, which I'm sure is a template you probably have.
Mhm.
We're going to then invite that client into the Asana project. And then we're going to create a task within the first, within that Asana project that we've just created. And that first task is going to be a link to a YouTube video, which is essentially going to onboard them. Hey, this is how Asana works. Here's how we're going to be using it for you to submit tickets. And here's what you can expect from, this subscription.
Actually, that's the last part right there.
Mhm.
It won't be necessary because the videos are already inside the template.
Oh, it's already in the
project.
template. Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
there's a couple videos. I actually what I was doing is I was manually creating personalized videos,
Mhm.
and so obviously I mentioned their name and stuff like that. So I had to just create two generic ones.
Mhm.
It's not walking them through exactly their specific project, but it's basically how I structure everything on every single project, and that's the template that I use. So I just walk them through that, and that way I don't have to record the videos every single time a new client comes in, and so it's already done. It's already inside the project. So once they are invited, they're gonna see those videos, and they are going to be able to see the steps that they need to take, and then we just go from there and fill out all the information that needs to be filled out and in that section.
Okay, that makes things even easier because now what
Yeah.
it sounds like you're telling me is all we have to do once we have invited them to the Asana project is perhaps send them a final notification email. Hey, here's a link to the project in case you ever get lost. Here's also maybe a confirmation of purchase if you don't already have that as an automatic outbound
Right.
email
No,
that happens.
they do.
Okay, so they get
Especially
that.
to Stripe. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we may not even need this notification email in the end. We'll see what happens. But let's just dive in and let's just build this really quick. So we know the first thing is we're looking for a new subscriber. So whenever someone creates a new subscription, that's what we're looking for. So my guess is that we are going to need a new webhook, and this is going to be the new subscriber hook. And down here, customer subscription. Customer subscription created is going to be, it's going to be what we're going to need. Okay, so now we have a new webhook that basically says, and I'm going to paste this into the chat for you. Now we have a new webhook that will basically watch and fire off every time a new subscriber happens. So I will give you instructions on this webhook in just 1 second. I just realized that this is probably going to be some sensitive information. So I'm actually going to delete that and generate a new one.
Mhm.
And I'm going to blur the screen. I'm going to blur the screen so that people can't watch me generate it.
So right now, I should be inside of the Stripe account. Yes.
Yes. You're going to want to be
Okay,
inside of
perfect.
Stripe because you're going to need to drop that webhook into your
Into
application.
each package. Okay.
No, it's not going to be like that. There's a specific
Okay.
section where you're going to need to do that.
Okay.
But I will make that very clear in a second. Okay, so let's just get the workflow archetyped, and then we can go in and handle the nitty gritty. Not archetype, prototyped. So we have so we've got Stripe going. So now Stripe is clearly watching for new subscriptions. So now what we need to do is we need to be able to classify a sale. So upon a new subscription, we're going to need to watch for a different sale type. And depending on that sale type, we're going to need to create a Asana template. So on Asana, this will take a second here.
Just open this.
We're going to create a project. So we're actually going to duplicate a project because we know that you have a template in mind. And since this is already integrated with what you're working with, we can go ahead and figure out. Okay. So within your workspace, you got two workspaces here. You got Pixels HQ and beehive.com.
Yeah.
Which
It
where would it be stored?
It will be in Pixels HQ.
Okay. So within Pixels HQ, it looks like there's a bunch of projects in here. Do you know?
Yeah, it's the one that says it's named Beehive Project Template.
Beehive project template. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have to generate a name. So do you have a naming template that you like to do for your new clients?
Naming template. No, I basically name the template the name of the newsletter project or the name of the actual client. That's how I name.
Okay. Okay. So in that case, we'll just drop the customer name in, and then maybe even we need to get some test data in here, but we can drop the customer name in, and then we can also drop, let's see, we can maybe drop like, maybe we can drop product in there too. So it might say like, Jane Doe standard plan. And then that would make it obvious for you to, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Whatever it needs to be. Okay, so this is where it's going to generate a new product or a new project. That is going to be, and then now we have the sort of optional, the optional things here. So it's asking us to include a couple of things. Do you want to include things like members, notes, tasks, notes, task assignees, subtasks, attachments? My guess is that
I usually do most of it. Yeah,
okay.
I think we can do all of it. If it yeah, just do all of it.
Okay.
Let's see.
We'll just do all of it for now. And then if once we test if that is not what we want, we can adapt. Okay. So the next thing is classification. So how are we going to classify it once an event fires off? We're going to do it right here with a filter. So we're going to have to, so the way that Stripe works when a new event happens, they don't actually tell you, they don't actually give you an identifying factor. So we're going to have to actually use price. So is standard plan. And I believe, and we'll leave this for later, but I believe the issue here is that we need to get something in here running so that we can get some test data in, and then also figure out what the two different plan types would look like. Okay, so we've got that going. And then we know that we have to invite a new client into the Asana project next. All right, this is kind of where it gets a little bit tricky. So when we're inviting new people into the Asana project, there's kind of Asana doesn't give you that ability through their API. So there's no way to programmatically invite clients into your Asana project. However, what we can do instead is, I don't know if you have a team or if there's any other people working in your org, we can send whoever's in charge of this an email, a notification saying, hey, this is the email that you need to invite, and here's the URL to the project that you need to invite them to. So even though we can't programmatically do it, there are workarounds.
Okay.
So that's why I asked for your Gmail, because I think it would be really simple here to just connect your Gmail account, send an email to yourself. Send an email.
Yeah, I like that idea. Which it doesn't take that much time, to be honest, to do that little piece manually. You
Yeah.
know, when yeah, that's fine. That takes no time at all.
Right. So once this decides to load, whenever that will be, we'll connect your Gmail account, send an email out with those fields, and then that way you can stay on top of things. Because, like, I don't know, probably something that you don't want to happen is they subscribe, they don't hear anything from you, and they
Right.
kind of fall through the cracks. That's probably
Right.
not something you want.
Yeah.
So I don't know when this is going to decide to work, but in the meantime, I'm going to try and get into Stripe and show you how to set up.
Okay. That's what do. That's why you gave me the webhook.
Yeah, that's why I gave you the
Let's
webhook.
see.
So we're gonna run everything in test mode first. So let me just figure out exactly where I need to put the webhook in. I believe it's under developers. Yes, it's under developers and webhook. Okay, yeah, this is, I definitely cannot show this information because someone would be able to take control of my Stripe account. But right here, I know you can see it. Right here under webhook, or sorry, I'm gonna have to move it. Actually, can you see this whole screen? Can you see the
Yeah.
top here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the top. Not the top.
Okay, let me just move it down then.
There you
So
go.
right here, make sure test
Yeah.
mode's turned on. Go to the developers tab right here.
Yep.
And then that.
And then we go on test mode.
Yes, make sure you go in test
Okay.
mode.
Okay.
So
got
I
it.
sent you a webhook. I accidentally added a slash at the end.
Slash. I was going to ask you about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
just
supposed to
ignore.
be there, right?
Yeah, just ignore that slash, and then let me log in. Probably have the 2FA too. Oh, I don't have the 2FA. Okay, I can probably make this public now. All right, so now we are in the Stripe dashboard. This is Stripe's webhook dashboard, and we're going to set up an endpoint. And what this endpoint will do is that every time a certain action happens, they're going to send all the data surrounding that action to this endpoint. The way that it works right now is make is listening, and it's saying, okay, anytime anyone sends information to this URL, your webhook URL that I sent you, let's give them some information. So right down here under select events, you're going to go down here.
The first, I'm sorry. How'd you get there? I missed that part.
So this page,
how'd you get there? Yeah.
Oh,
so we are. I'm actually in the dashboard.
So you're in dashboard. Do you see this add endpoint right here?
I was going to ask you about that. I don't see that on my end. I don't see that.
Oh, sorry. So you're here. You must be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you need to go to webhooks.
Okay.
On this, yeah.
And okay, I see add endpoint.
Yep.
For testing local. Okay, it
yeah.
gives me two buttons. Okay.
Yes. So you want to make sure you're in add endpoint.
All right. Let me, for security purposes, they are asking me for my password.
Not a problem. I'll just quickly re-explain.
There you go.
So once you add the endpoint, it allows you to listen to events that happen on Stripe. So what you're going to want to do, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What you're going to want to do is go down here to select events to listen to. Go up here, type in subscription, and you're going to want to select customer subscription created.
Okay, perfect.
Go ahead and add events, and then once you're done, click add endpoint.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on. It says Okay, so the webhook goes in the, hold on, because I click at endpoint and
Mm-hmm.
it gave me the webhook URL cannot be end, of course. Jesus Lord. Let me add that webhook in there.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't add that. Hold on. Of course, it needs the HTTPS that is not there for some reason.
oh yeah, that's weird.
Let's see. Okay, we're good to go.
Okay.
Just waiting for events now.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move on here. So once that webhook is done, now this. Actually, did I do this right? Hold on. My watch events endpoint. I'm gonna have to blur the screen again. Let's see.
That's okay.
Just want to make sure I actually did the right endpoint here. For eek. Oh, okay, I did not.
No.
Sorry,
okay.
that was the one I sent you was the old one. That's the one that. That's
Got
the
it.
one you actually
Okay.
need.
Hold on. Let's do it again.
You can actually go
And
back
yes,
and edit that endpoint.
update details, right?
Yeah, you can
Let's
just
see.
update it.
Update details.
Had a feeling that I gave you the old
Yeah.
one.
Let me. For some reason, when you paste that webhook in here, it doesn't give me the HTTPS.
Right.
So I have it right there. Let's see. Endpoint.
Okay, while you're working on that, I'm gonna walk the audience through the need for a router. So this is a router module. Basically what it does is it allows us to easily split the workflow into two different trees. So I'm going to go ahead and clone this duplicate project because we know we're going to be duplicating two separate projects depending on what people are using. And this is what Zapier can't do, by the way. Zapier is unable to split and do conditionals like this.
If I needed to add a third one, I would just follow these process.
Yeah, you would just go ahead, clone this, and then add another filter.
Got it.
That's all you would have to do. You'd have to change them too to reflect the project that you're duplicating, but it's effectively the same thing. And then we're actually going to add another router in here because all of them are going to file into the same. Oops, sorry. Can we just do this? Oh, we'll have to do it separately. That's fine. So we have a standard plan filter, and then we also have is pro plan. And we'll just set the name up for now. So now let's figure out the pro plan template. Is it going to be the same template here?
Yeah.
It's
The
just
information that is going to change is only going to be inside. That's gonna have to be done manually, unless, for example, when somebody actually buys and go through. I was thinking about that today. Goes through a process like a series of questions, right, with another tool, and then that data is transferred to all of this. Then maybe that can be done, but it's not necessary right now.
Okay. In that case, we'll just leave it as is because, in theory, the product name, the plan name, should be here. So if it is a pro plan, it'll duplicate the same thing, but the project will be called like Jane Doe Pro Plan instead.
Got it.
So that should just be okay with what we're working with. Actually, and if that's the case, we don't even need this filter because this kind of just will do it for us. So we really don't even need this yet because we'll already have everything within the details of the project. Okay, so our project is completed now, or the duplicating the project is completed, and we just have to send an email now. We'll just say, welcome to your new project. You can figure out a better subject line eventually. And then once a project gets completed, let's see, new project ID. I believe the way that this works, I
Yeah.
think Asana will, I'm sure this is like, this project ID is like a stub. So I'm going to have to pull up asana.com. And if I'm looking at, if I'm looking within projects, and it looks like the URL appears to be, so in the URL, one of these has to be the project ID. I'm not sure which one it
Okay.
is, but we should be able to just, here, let me go ahead and remove, I think it's got to be this last one, because this is probably the organizational ID, and then this is probably project ID. So,
Hold on. I'm not seeing exactly where you are. Maybe
oh,
it's
sorry.
cutting up.
It's the crop. It's the crop.
Oh, in the okay.
Okay. So let me just go ahead and make this, put this into Excalibur. So this is what an Asana URL looks
Gives you,
like,
yeah.
right? And then so we know that this is probably there's two different IDs here. I believe this is the organizational ID, and I believe this is the project ID. So in your automation, go ahead and go to your Asana, send me whatever this number is, and then I will build this URL in here so that we can pipe in a dynamic link, because we know we have the new project ID here. So
Question, because
yes.
I am actually I have Asana open in the app,
Okay.
and I will have to open it in the browser. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
You're gonna have
Uh,
to open this in the browser.
okay, hold on. Let's get to it. And although in the app they actually give me the project link, which might actually be that, and so I just need to. But let's see. I'll give you that link.
Yeah, and you can just paste it in the chat once
Mhm.
you've got it.
There you go. So basically, this is for the project that is going to be duplicated, the one that we are
Yes.
using to duplicate. Okay.
Yes.
So
This
perfect.
will be a fresh, empty project. Well, it'll be a duplication. Um,
Hmm. I just added it.
got it. I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know how sensitive this information is, so I'm going to just blur it to be safe and add it in
Appreciate that.
like that. And in the email address, we're just going to have to leave that blank, and hopefully I will just remember to blur it when we add your email in. Okay, so now let's try and get some test data in here. I'm going to open Stripe up on my screen and try to do my best to demonstrate what we're dealing with. So if I go to my product catalog,
Okay.
and I go to test mode, okay, here we go. I can definitely show this. So this is my product catalog. I've got 3 different services. I've got my premium service at 10 a month, my ultra premium service at 100, super ultra premium at 1,000. So when anyone subscribes to any one of these 3, that webhook should fire. So what I want you to do is, on your own Stripe account, while you're in test mode, go ahead and navigate to the product catalog page and create 3 different test products, and make sure they're all
Um.
subscriptions. So if I were
Now,
you,
okay. That's a important detail that you just mentioned. You said make sure that they are all subscriptions.
mhm.
The packages that I have right now, they are not subscriptions.
Oh, they're
They
all one
are
time.
they're one time.
Oh,
So
okay.
does this makes a difference in the setup?
It does. It does. This means that within developer, in your webhooks, and I think I can expose these webhooks. I think it should be fine. Within that endpoint that you had, you should be able to go back. Let's see. This is subscription added. Update details. Let's see. Purchased. Whoops.
Okay, so this is in the select events section.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the endpoint that we're going to need.
Instead of a description. That was a detail that I have been dabbling into that, whether offer the subscription or just do one time. Right now, for the setup, it will be one time, but the difference will be what we're picking in the select event section or the events to send section.
Okay. So the difference is that we can't do, because the customer subscription created is based on, just whenever someone subscribes. But there's another. Okay, and this is where like it's tough because I don't want to have to go in and figure out, look through all their documentation. So what I'm gonna do actually, and this is what I've just been doing for pretty much all work things. What is the event that I have to look for in Stripe's API to record when a new sale happens? Sorry, this is just a little tool that I have that allows me to speak into my microphone and transcribe things.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we're looking for checkout session completed. That's right, I remember that. Checkout session completed. That's our endpoint. Make sure you add that in, and then upon
remove the other one, right?
Yeah, remove the other one. Hold on.
Perfect.
My the house cat just walked in. Here she is.
Checkout session complete.
Say hi. Okay. Sometimes she'll just like jump on my lap and completely scare me. And I don't want to like accidentally knock my microphone over. Okay, so you've got that going?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all set up. I
So
need
now
to go back to
the product catalog. Make sure you add a new product. Make
Just
sure
one.
it is, yes, make sure it's a one-off.
Okay.
It's not recurring.
Okay, so this is just a test, right? Let's put it in here. Let's just put in here the plan. One-off. And does the pricing matters? Or it could be just $1 or something like that.
No, I mean the pricing doesn't matter, but for the different products, because we're going to test two different ones, just make sure the price is different.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's do one in here. Is it important to add for these for purposes of these to add anything else like in the description or images or
No,
anything like that?
not very.
Okay.
You can add some text in the description. That's not a problem. But I think specifically what you're gonna want to add. Remember that metadata thing that I was telling you about?
Yeah.
You're gonna need to do that. So let me just actually walk through this real quick. We'll say like test product 1 description testing. We'll make it $1 and it's a one-off. Add product. Okay. For my audience, this is super critical. When you make a product in Stripe, you have to generate these things called payment links. And within a payment link, we're just going to create this real quick. Within a payment link, you have an option to add metadata. So this is going to be super key if you're going to want to if you have like, let's say 10 products that all cost the same and you got to figure out which one you need to ship out. This is like the most important thing. So we'll say like, because this is a tiered product, we'll say like tier 1. All right. So now we've got this metadata added. And go ahead and just make your metadata look the same as this. Tier
That's
1.
that's once the payment
Once
link
you've,
is created.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're in the payment link page.
Yeah. Going through it. Once it's created, and I go in and I add the metadata.
Yeah. And then once you've got the metadata added, can you copy the link and then send it to me in the chat? Okay. And then we can begin testing.
Now you need me to do this twice, right?
Yes. Because it's going to be 2 different products.
So we're going to call one tier 1 and the other one tier 2.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait, I forgot what it was. So the bot in the key, it will be I'm sorry, tier, and then okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, tier, and then 1 the value. Perfect. Save, and then we go into the next one. Let's create another one. It has to be it has to be a completely different product or just a completely different pricing.
It should be a completely different product at a completely different price, because that's going to be what you're actually dealing with.
Perfect. Okay. Pro plan.
Also, one's in the chat if you're still here and you're still listening.
Okay, that's weird. On the second product that I just created, okay, hold on. It seems that it didn't create. Yeah, the product is there. It's not appearing in the. So I created the pro plan. This is the second product at a different pricing point.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, the when I want to create I go to payment links and I want to create that one. Let me see if it's because I haven't added anything here. It's not showcasing as an option to create a payment link.
Like, really?
There's no. Yeah. Give me a second. Let me see if it's
like down here and under pricing, it doesn't say like there's nothing here.
Hold on. Let me update and let's go to. Create payment link. Let's see. That's what I have to do. Okay. I think we are perfect. That's the payment link. In the payment link, we do tier 2.
Mm-hmm. And then send me the link to that tier 2 product in the chat.
The tier 2 product, okay.
Yeah, send me the link to that.
Okay, so we got tier 2 link right there.
Okay.
You don't need the first one?
Nope.
Okay.
we just need this to test.
Okay.
So I'm gonna delete some things here. So we got a $2 thing. We'll say test email at gmail.com. The test Stripe card, I believe, is this. We'll say we are Tony G, and then we'll call this target. Oop, 9825. Don't save my info. And in theory, when this runs, we will see something happen here. So right now we're watching for events.
Yeah.
And when I hit pay, if it's set up properly, it fired off. Okay, amazing. So now we have all of this data. So this failed, likely because it didn't have anything. Or sorry, this failed because we completely changed the this beginning node. So we have to redo this.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
within this, we know a few things. I believe we have item information. Let's see, plan. Okay, so that's empty. So we have a checkout session completed. We have, here we go. So here's our customer data. So right here we have a name. And within here somewhere should be some metadata. I am looking for that now. Data. Something that'll tell us what the tier is. My guess is, let's see, paid, phone number, payment method type, invoices, expires at, custom text? No. Let's see, does this contain the metadata we're looking for? Oops. Checkout session, here we go. Meta. Yes, here we go. And there's tier 2. So that's that
Perfect.
metadata that we piped in. We can add that in as a field. So this will, when a new project gets created, this will say, Tony G -2 for tier 2. And it will have all these things. Okay, so next time I successfully complete a test transaction, in theory, all of these things will get created. So now, while we're here, I'm going to blur my screen real quick, and then within the last node, this Gmail object, I'm going to drop that email that we had from earlier. So you can see this, but right here it says email, yes. We're going to drop that in because that's where the email should be going.
Okay.
Okay, so now that's all set up, and in theory, that's all we really have to do. So go ahead and go back to product 2, drop me another link to that payment link. I'll complete it on screen, and then hopefully in your Asana page, you should see a duplicate project pop up with my name on it.
Hold on. So do you need the exact same link that I just gave you?
No. That link expires. So you'll have to go back and you'll have to view that same payment.
Got it. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay. All right.
Actually, I'm wrong. I thought it was one time. It doesn't.
No.
No, we're good. We're good. So
Okay,
we'll
cool.
say like test email it. We'll actually use my late checkout.studio. That's my actual work email. Okay, and we are watching. So now let's hit pay. All right, payment was completed. We're running into another issue. Scheduled dates requires exactly one of due on or start on. I see. So this is an issue with start date. It needs to know when a due date and a start on needs to happen. Let me read this one more time.
Is that
Schedule.
because we picked the
It's because when you go to create a new project, it requires you to have exactly one due on or start on date to begin.
that's because we chose all of them, all of the things that we require to show in the project, in the Asana project.
Oh, it's like a filter that you have?
I mean, you know what? Every single time you create a project, we did this earlier, where they ask you for, um, you had checkboxes in there, and it would showcase. Let me see. Hold on. When I click duplicating here, yeah, project details like, um, I don't know if due date is part of it. That was, oh yeah, task due date. I never actually, yeah, I think that's what it is. Maybe isn't that what it is? If you check that box that says task due date, it will require. If we checked it, it will require in this process to do that. But I never checked that box. It's just that in the top of my head when we were doing the process, I said check them all because I wasn't even thinking about that detail. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it.
So in that case, I'm just going to plug in the now timestamp, or not
Okay.
timestamp, but the now time. Because if it's not a field that you care very much about and it's not important, then we don't
Hmm.
really need to think about it. So
Okay.
I've gone ahead, added them in. Now one more time. Let's run this. And Tony at Anthony at latecheckout.studio. Sure. And if we do this test transaction, we've got another error. Okay, schedule dates requires exactly one of, oh, I see. They need only one, so they can't have both.
Okay.
Is the what they're telling me. Okay, one more time here. See, this is just what like development is
Yeah,
sometimes.
it
It's
is an
just like,
iteration process.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
trial and error, really. And then
Hmm.
sometimes, like, I'm guessing that that's the case. I don't actually know. I'm pretty sure, just based on the syntax of the way they're like phrasing that, they're structuring that question.
Hmm.
Uh, but here we go. Oh, we got a new one.
Again.
Schedule dates requires the original project to have a due date or contain at least one task with a due date. So,
Wow.
so you got to go back
Uh,
into your template and add a
yeah.
due date.
Okay. Let's see. To any of the, okay, due date.
Yes.
Let's
So
see.
the OG project has to have a due date, or one of your tasks should have a due date. So maybe what you can
So
do is have one of your tasks have a due date for like 100 years in the future.
that's what I was going to ask. What if the due date just passed, by the time the new customer comes in? So, holy crap. Okay, let's see.
Yeah,
Let's go into the
that's an
future in here.
option. Meanwhile, I'm going to,
Let's do 2030. What are we going to be doing that day? Let's see. Okay. Um, at least one, you said, right?
uh yes, at least one. That's what they said.
It should be done.
Should be done. Okay.
Hmm.
Let's go ahead and watch for new events. Click on pay. Successful, successful. So the only thing we failed is
Nice.
sending an email, which, I mean, it's probably just some of the fields are incorrect or maybe the email's wrong.
Hmm.
Anyways, go ahead and check your Asana right now. There should be a duplicate project with the name um, Tony G, dash
All right.
2.
Let's
And
see.
this will be within your Pixels HQ.
This is yeah. This is actually the big deal part for me. If the email doesn't work, that's fine. But I'm sure we can. Let me see. There you go. Right at the top, Tony G.
Right at the top.
Perfect.
Amazing. You want to? Can you
That's amazing.
can you take a quick screenshot of what it looks like right now, and then send me a
Yeah.
link to that screenshot, and then I will post that on the stream so people can see what you're looking at.
Hold on. So of the project.
Oh, just over the dashboard, just
Yeah.
just so people can see that my name is actually on that project, that we
Yeah.
did take that information from Stripe as soon as someone
Do
did
you
complete a
do you want
transaction.
me to upload it? To just upload the image in here?
Yes, I don't think you can.
No, I don't think I can either. Hold on. Let's see. So where do you want me to send it to?
You know what? You can just text it to me. I will pull it
Okay.
up on I'll pull it up on like Discord or something.
This is pretty much my design process. It's a bunch of iterations.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Until we
all.
get it
That
until we
yeah,
get it to the point we want. Yeah.
yep.
Let me actually send that image to.
It's really just it's like the development process is actually like very messy usually because it's
Yep.
a lot of not knowing that certain rules exist. Like for example, like Asana had hit us with like every rule it had, right? The most,
Yeah.
you know, not abstract, but the obscure. Like only someone who works
Yeah.
with Asana every single day knows these
We'll
things.
know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like this is my first time working with the Asana API, so like it's of course not going to be
Mm.
perfect, but at the same time, like, you know, we just read the errors, figure out what they're saying, and then
Yeah.
continue iterating
Yeah.
until it
It's a
works.
problem solving. It's a problem solving process too. I can relate a lot to that with the design projects. There's a lot of problem solving
Yeah,
tasks,
exactly.
and so you have to figure it
Okay,
out in in a way. You got it? The image?
I got it. There I am. There's my project. So all of this got created as soon as someone completed a transaction on Stripe. You at this
Yeah. If
time
you go
were,
in,
yeah, you were
probably
asleep,
the information is already there.
right?
Exactly.
You'll wake up one morning and this will just be here. And you'll say, "Oh, looks like I have some work to do."
Hmm. I think the important part is to just minimum if I can get an email notification letting me know that a new client just onboarded,
Mm-hmm.
happen. I know Stripe is going to send me that notification too, but if I can get an email notification about who who did,
Ah,
that
so
would
like
be.
yes. Like who it was that just got onboarded, what their name is.
Or at
So
least the name of the actual project. That way I can look at it, look for it, and check it out. But it's not a completely big deal because Stripe already tells me that something happened, and gives me the name of the customer. Probably the client will also reach out to me and let me know that they pay thousands of dollars to to get their services done. Um,
yeah, of
so
course. So here's what I'm gonna do, Ricky. You can see this, but I have to blur this because of privacy
yeah.
for you.
Hold,
But
hold
right
on,
now,
Ricky. That's not my email address.
oh, okay. What is that? Yeah, sorry. What is your email address? Can you just
Yeah,
type in the
I'll give
chat
it.
for me?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, if maybe if you want the
You're
world to
talking.
know, you can.
You're talking about the. You can only email me if you are about to give me some money. That's all.
That's the rule.
Anyways, you want me to give you the same Gmail?
Yes. Whichever email, put it in the chat. Whichever email you like to use to
Yeah.
receive these notifications. Perfect. Okay. So in the subject box, we're gonna include the name. So we'll say my name, Tony G. Welcome to your new project. We'll say here's a link to your new project. And we'll add that in here. The formatting we have to do manually, which is extremely annoying.
Hmm.
Hey, we have to use HTML. It's probably the worst part about Make is that they don't give you like a rich text editor. So we're just going to do our own
Wow.
HTML. We'll say, hey, Tony G, here's a link to your new project. There's a link. I'll need to like turn it into a actual hyperlinked link in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to get all the details down. And then let's see. That will be all of, well, that's everything we need, right? It's like, because then the customer will get an email with an invitation, not an invitation, but a link to their new project management Asana page.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
you're also going to get that same email with all that information. So you'll have their name and a link to their Asana page. So when you click on it,
Right.
you'll be
Oh,
able to
hold
see
on.
it. And when they click on it,
Hold on.
they can't do.
That isn't okay. Hold on. You just mentioned something that is very important. So, right now they are not really invited to it. They are.
Yes.
The project is created, so I have to invite them. So if they receive this email when the project is created, this email is for me.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. It's not for them.
Well,
Okay, that
I
was
mean,
my.
well, no, hold on. It's for both of you. So, and this is what and I don't know this, but I'm guessing
Mhm.
if I am not invited to a project and I have a link to a project and I go to that project, I click on it, even though I'm not invited, I should maybe be able to request access. Is that correct?
Mm. I honestly have no idea, but that's worth trying.
That's worth trying. So
Um,
why don't you
so
find a project, send me a link, and then we'll see what it looks
we can
like.
use the same. We can use the same project that was just created. Um,
Okay, what is
with the 20. I'll give you the link. Um,
actually
you
I
are
think I
not
have it.
invited. You are not invited yet. But if you click on it,
Oh, here we go. It says it looks like you here. This is what it looks like right here. It
hmm
says it looks like you don't have access to this and learn why. So it doesn't appear as though I can request.
yeah,
It doesn't appear as though I can request. So you're right. We're gonna have to change the email contents. I'm gonna blur this. Blur this.
you can say that they should receive a separate email soon, with an invitation to the Asana project.
Yeah, that's perfect. You will be receiving an email inviting you to your new Asana project
Within 24
shortly.
to 48 hours or something like that, or shortly. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Um, what we'll do after that is we'll send another Gmail, and this will be for you
Mhm.
to yourself using the email that you sent me, which I won't say. To do invite to new project.
Perfect.
And what we'll drop in here is that old information
hmm
to a new project created for, and we'll drop the email in here to make it very easy. We know that the customer here is, oh, not items, it is probably going to be customer details. Within customer details, we have their email. And from there, that's all you really need. So you'll have the email, which you can copy and paste. I'll go ahead and separate it so that it will look, it'll just be easy to double click and copy. And then we'll have a link for you that you can easily click and then do that.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
amazing.
And then we're also going to remove this welcome to your new project follow-up email.
Hmm.
You don't need to see that because at the same time, you'll be getting a similar email that goes there.
So, question: if
Hmm.
since I'm planning, I'm in the process of hiring a couple people. If I want them to handle this, and instead of me receiving that email, I want them to receive it and handle that part. I will basically just go inside of Make and go to that last part
Hmm.
and
And
add
then
their email
change
address in there.
and add their email address in there.
Can you add more than one email address in there?
Yes. On
Oh,
any
okay.
new Gmail node,
Uh-huh.
once it's connected, you can add as many recipients as you want.
Got it. What you did was just to duplicate the previous one, right?
I
Is that what you
just
did?
no, in this
Oh,
case
you
I
just
added a
okay.
brand new one. You can do that.
Okay.
That would actually be
Mhm.
smarter, but I'm trying to leave your info out of it.
Got it.
So you can just come here, hit clone, and
And
then
clone.
add
Okay.
more recipients if you want to add. Actually, you don't even
Perfect.
have to. You can just go in here, and then there will be an option to add more recipients.
Got it. Got it. Awesome.
All right, let's do this one more time just to make sure everything works. I'm
Hmm.
going to go ahead and drop in that link. And we're just going to say Anthony at latecheckout.studio, spelled studio wrong. 11, 3, 1, 2, 3. Cardholder name, we can do and we'll run this. It's processing. Looks like it's
I,
complete. Now we're watching for the events.
I wonder how fast I'm gonna get that email.
Oh, you know what's going to happen?
Mm.
It's going to try and duplicate this project and realize that there's another project that's going to be the same name. Because remember, it's my, I think I used the exact
Yeah.
same details. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this won't finish.
Oh, it won't.
It won't finish. I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna have to do it again, use a different email.
What if I just change the name of the current one right now? I just did.
No, in like 2 seconds, it's gonna break.
Let's see.
Okay, we can do this just one more time. It's not a big deal.
Oh yeah. Oh, link expired. You need a new link?
No,
No.
I don't. Okay, we're gonna do a new one. This will be Anthony G at latecheckout.studio. Actually, I'll keep the email the same. And then for the name, we're gonna do Jane Doe. Because that's how we're creating the name of the projects. And then looks like it's
It created the other one, Tony G2.
did it?
Yeah, because I
Oh.
changed the name to Tony G1, the first one,
Yeah.
and it created a second one called Tony G2. Um, yeah, I can see it.
Oh no.
What happened?
When I this is a very make thing that happens. Make doesn't automatically save, which is my biggest gripe with it.
Mm,
We can end it here. I'll just rebuild this for you. We don't have to do it live on stream. Um,
okay.
so what I'm gonna do, if you're still watching, thank you for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. Because we have to go and basically rebuild the whole thing, which I mean, this will take not very much time. We've already done it once. But to make things faster for you, Ricky, I'm just going to stop the stream. So for everyone who's still here, thank you very much. I'll see you guys actually on Friday because we're going to do another one with a very cool guest who is doing some great work in a nonprofit sector. All right, that's going to be it for me. See you guys later.